Mario with MIA Microflight, another day, continuing with a wing for a half scale RC Ultralight. This is for the Quicksilver half scale. The most satisfying part of the wing assembly, in my opinion, is the insertion of the ribs via each of the rib pockets that you see in this wing here. You can see the wing extends quite a bit here, so I am in the process of doing that, but I wanted to capture this on video because there is something very satisfying, as I said, in inserting the ribs. I do this for the customers on the smaller kits, and I ship the wing with the ribs already installed. You can see those are the ribs the way I do them. In the full-scale models, or in the full-scale aircraft, I should say, not models, because full scale is full scale. The ribs are made from aluminum tube. I don't use aluminum tubing in all my kits, because what happens with aluminum when you have a mishap is it bends, it cracks. So I don't use that. So I make my own. These are molded ribs, individually molded to that airfoil that is required, to maintain the airfoil on the wing once it's assembled. So I do this for the customer, is what I'm about to do on this half scale wing. Same thing, I do it on the small ones, and then I roll the wing and I ship the wing that way to the customer. So all he has got to do is unravel the wing. The ribs are already installed, and all he's got to do is insert the leading and trailing edges, and then the hardware that goes along with that assembly. So in this video, what you're seeing is the insertion of the ribs, and you can see and you can hear that when the ribs gets inserted. I don't have three hands, so I'm going to have to do this kind of with holding one hand inserting. So you can see how easy that went in. And like I said, even though it's not a big deal, to insert the ribs, I do that for the customer. So it also, I prefer to do that rather than to ship the ribs loose, and that way it's a lot easier for the customer to assemble the kit. The kit in the kits that I sell via my website, those are the fit scale, and I do sell the quarter scale on a custom order, meaning I don't have that on my website as a purchase link. So if you want a quarter scale, you have to order that from me directly. I have had some interested customers on the half scale ever since I've been posting, my videos with regards to this project, and I've been, I haven't forgotten you. If you have sent me an email, and it's not that I'm not avoiding you, I just haven't made a decision whether to sell this as a complete kit or just partially, as I did to the customer that I show also videos that he posted flying, this particular size. So I'm still in that trying to make that decision, because shipping a model this big, half scale, you were talking about a 7 foot, 8 foot box, that especially if it's got to be shipped overseas. So it's quite a large box. I've never had to ship anything that big before, so it's something, it would be something new for me, and it's something that I'm kind of debating whether I really want to do that at this stage of the game. I've been operating MIA Microflight for the past 25 years, so you can kind of guesstimate the my age, from that number. And I mean, I'm still able to do a lot of things. I mean, thank God, that I can work on these things. So I'm not constricted from that point of view. But it's just that I've done these things so much for the past 25 years that it gets to a point where do you want to make these in sort of a multiple production, not so much mass production, because mass production is in the hundreds, thousands, but maybe in the dozens, for example. Do I want to make it like I've been doing the other stuff, in my more prominent MIA Microflight years. So it's something that I have to think about it. Plus, I want to invest time on my own projects. Doesn't mean that I'm pulling away from this stuff. Doesn't mean that It doesn't mean that I have forgotten this. I'm still doing this, and as long as I'm alive, I will be doing these things. Provided I'm still able to do that. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. But it is as far as making these as full kits, in this particular size. I'm not talking about the smaller size, because smaller size I'm still making those as full kits. But in this particular size, it's something that I'm still considering. So if you're one of those customers, I know a couple of you are return customers that email me. Just hang in there. Let me give me another few days, to make that decision. I'm trying to complete this wing right here in the meantime, and that's the reason why I'm also showing these videos. Is just to give you a little bit of what's going on with this project, and it might end. Doesn't mean that I have that I have abandoned the project. If I haven't posted too much lately on a complete full length videos, I've been doing a lot of shorts, and just to keep it nice and sweet, and just to provide a wider audience. I think a lot more people are into shorts. I'm not so much into shorts, because they only give you a snippet of information, so I rather look at the full video. But then again, the algorithms, I don't know how they're set up, and I don't at this point, I don't care how for those things. I don't care about AI. I don't care, for all these new technologies that have been they have surfaced, to allow you to do a lot of these things. They claim to be they claim to assist you in doing these things, but it's more for collecting, data and information about you, and the way you work and how you project things. And I mean, if I had not done that myself already, throughout the 25 years of being in operating it, under MIA Microflight. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I've done. There's no way to hide from that, and I don't need to hide from that. There's no need for that. But when it comes to AI, it just bothers me that I see these apps, I see all these things. In fact, some of these things, when you do shorts, they give you all these filters. And just the other day, I did a short video. I didn't realize that a filter was on. Then one of my viewers mentioned, "Hey Mario, there are some white spots in your video," and I go, "Oh yeah, that's probably a filter." And sure enough, it's one of those AI filters that it gets embedded. Sometimes they kind of sneak on your videos if you're not careful. With how you what buttons you press. So I don't care for that. It's a lot of noise, in my opinion. A lot of that stuff. I like it. I like things. Under the KISS rule, keep it simple, silly if you want to be nice, or keep it simple, stupid if you want to be a little more strong on that. But I am for the KISS rule, and I don't need bells and whistles. I don't need AI. I don't need technologies, to enhance my life beyond what I've already shown as far as my capabilities, skills, and what I've been producing. So from that point of view, I don't like these apps. Call me old-fashioned, call me whatever. I don't care. It's just and I think anybody my age, would recognize that. Anybody sensible, let me put it that way, because there are people that are not sensible, that are, that will not, that are not able to critically think things through. But if you've been following my stuff, you're probably most, I go with the 2/3 rule. I did a video also on that. 1/3 of the population, let me put it this way, as a whole, in my opinion, are people that are just not able to reason, or to critically think, with common sense and with logic. And 2/3 of the population are people that are, that they're mostly educated individuals that have some level of ethics and true ethics and morals. I don't mean ethics and morals derived from organizations, and you can label those organizations any way you wish. But I'm talking about honest, true morals that are ethical and moral from a human perspective. So I believe 2/3 of the population are those people. That's why I believe, and I am very optimistic that good always prevails evil from that point of view, because 2/3 are there. They may not all be there at the same time, but it's that those those percentages are there in my opinion, based on just my life experiences, what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've how I have come across a lot of information, a lot of people. So anyway, I like to throw in some of my own opinions with that respect. Theories, kind of mild. I don't want to get too deep into that. But getting back to this project, the whole point was to give you an insight on how big this wing is. You can see it's I'm doing this in my in my family room here because I've basically run out of room doing so many of these things that my porch where I work typically, and well, my shop is my shop. That's kind of the shop stuff. Sometimes it gets a little dusty there, dirty, so there's no point in doing this in my shop. But in my porch where I have all my models, that has become a little museum of all the stuff that I've done throughout the years, and that's where I've shown videos, my models hanging, and that's sometimes where I work because I just like it's very serene, especially at night, when nobody's bothering me. I do a lot of this stuff, at odd hours, and so that's how I work. I like working by myself, and it's something that I decided, when I established MIA Microflight. Um, I just, I mean, I like working with people. I have had people assist me, and I have managed a group of people in the past, both in a professional environment and also on with my own company. But I prefer to do these things, truly, I really like working by myself. It allows me to concentrate and truly focus on things the way I think they should be done. They should be built. They should be designed. They should be projected, to an audience. And so I hope this video gives you a little more of that, and just getting back to this, it's like I was saying, it's very satisfying putting these things inside and assembling. And once you get to the model, assembling the model, once you get all the parts and you have something tangible that you can see, you can appreciate, then it becomes a lot better. I'm going to pause this video right here. I was going to show you some additional footage of my personal half scale, but I'm not going to do that until I complete the other wing. I still have to do a little more sewing. You can see the stitching here. I take pride in my in the way I assemble things and I stitch these things. And so I'm going to pause the video here, and if you're following my videos, come back and see my next video, because I will have a lot more to show here. But this is about the wing, and the assembly of the wing with the ribs, the way I do it. This is my own methods, my own ways of doing things. The way the selection of materials is my own. The way I make these things, I create tools is my own. Everything's from scratch. There's no duplication of even the full scale, because then it would become a museum piece. If I were to replicate every single nut and bolt, drill hole, it's tubing in the way that the full scale is done, it just doesn't justify for an RC Ultralight. And I say that from experience because I have done that. One of my very early Quicksilver Style RC Ultralights was a model that I did in 1/8 with 1/8 tubing. It was a 1/10 scale of the full scale, the full size, the aircraft. And so I drilled the little holes, through the tubing, and I made it exactly, like the full scale, trying to replicate every single nuance of the assembly. And it just didn't last that long, because for one good hard landing, the tubes broke, where I had drilled through the tube, for these little tiny screws. So it doesn't justify to do that. So I have my own ways that I have shown and I have discussed in other videos, and that's the reason why I also call the MIA Quicksilver Style, Quicksilver Styles. And the style has been inspired. There's a lot of recognition, to the full scale. Is a lot of these models are inspired. Any company that's making models, rear control models, replicas or in scale to the full size. They're inspirations by the full scale models. And of course, like I said, for radio control, you have to, you can't make it exactly as the full scale. So there's a lot of re-engineering. I had to re-engineer a lot of the stuff from the bottom up, and just kind of burn a lot of brain cells in how am I going to do this, so that it works with certain parts, my own 3D printed parts, my own clips that I use here. That have become a trademark of MIA Microflight throughout the years, throughout the kits that I've been making, since 1999 and before then. When I was planning on selling this under MIA Microflight, when I was under MIA Designs, for example. So a lot of those parts have become, the way I make my ribs. These ribs right here, they're my own, because I've never seen anybody do with this type of material ribs like that. Yeah, I'm not calling the shape mine, because therefore, can be anybody's shape. But a lot of these things are, the way I've seen people do is that they do them in aluminum, they don't last. So, and my customers know this already, because they have the parts. In fact, one customer that bought a kit from me did a full review on one of my kits, and he basically says the things that I'm saying here in his own words. So you might stumble on those videos. If you do, great. I'm not going to provide the links here, because I don't want to direct you. I don't like to do that. I don't like to beg for views. I don't like to. If you want to give me a thumbs up, great. But I'm not begging people. I'm not. I leave it up to the customer to do that if he's nice enough, to do that, or she's nice enough, because I also have women, not a lot, but I have had ladies that have been customers of mine, that have bought my stuff for their husbands, for their best man, or not a lot. Like I said, most of this most of these hobbies are basically operated by men. So it's but we can't be we cannot avoid also including ladies there, because in my opinion, women have just as much rights as men, and we should respect women, in their own decisions. Men, I don't think men should have any say so in the functions of a woman, in their even in their thoughts, because they're humans just like us. Very smart women. I have ladies in my life: my wife, my mom, my sister, my daughters, and great respect to I have great respect to women, because I had great respect to my mom. It stems from that point of reference. So if you respect your mom, is a woman, is a leader, because my mom, did a lot of stuff. As my dad also did, but more so my mom, that I remember, in my younger days. So I've always held moms and older ladies, in high regards, and so therefore I respect women, especially women that make that make a that go and study and educate themselves, and are smart people as well. So we have to respect that. I hope there are people in my audience that are also of that mindset. If you're not of that mindset, please don't come to my videos. Go somewhere else. I'm pretty sure you have I'm pretty sure you'd be better off, in some other areas. But if you're not of that mindset, you're not welcome, in my videos. Mario, once again, thanks for watching.